Listen, I want to talk to y'all about people taking up identities of demons. And what I mean by this, right, is that a lot of people don't realize that when they open certain doors and, are living in certain sins, that you take up the identity, meaning the entire nature of something that is not always you. God said he made us in his image, right? We're made in his image. His spirit is in us. We are supposed to look like him. But the only way we are able to connect to him is, of course, through the part of us that belongs to him, which is the spirit of God inside of us. So now when we are outside of him and we are living in sin, of course, it opens doors to demons and it gives the devil access. Whatever spirit we're feeding, it gives them access. And we begin to look like the same thing we are feeding, the same thing we are pulling on. And a lot of the times I see people outside, I guess you could bring up multiple personality disorder, which it's demonic. It's demon spirits that, whether it be a generational door that it gain access to this person's life, or it be doors that you have opened in your own life, whether it be through witchcraft or, anything, sleeping with multiple people that can do it as well. It's just a few different things, right? But I'm just using it as an example. You begin to take up the personality of something that was never yours to begin with. And a lot of people don't understand or realize that they are not usually fighting against themselves. It may feel like a war within yourself, but that's exactly what it is. It's not you fighting with you. It's you fighting with things that are inside of you, the war within yourself. And I do not, of course, those who hear me hear what I'm saying. I don't mean that in no new age terminology. I mean that there are demonic spirits that you may be taking up an identity of that you're not even fully aware. Like another example, right? When you can see somebody who is, has an attraction to the same sex, and whatever door might have been open, whether in their bloodline, right, that spirit may be visiting them, or they opened the door themselves through homosexual activity, or something was done to them for that spirit to enter. You will see them take up a different nature, but a nature of the spirit that has those desires themselves. Like, we don't come out the womb an alcoholic. You feel me? We don't come out the womb sexually immoral. Like, we don't have these desires. These spirits visit us when we hit a certain age to see if they can continue the patterns, the habits, and the lifestyles in our bloodline, to see if we'll take agreement, with whatever is presented to us for them to continue their demonic lineage. And it's crazy because it's like, I want people to understand that what you like, a lot of people go through a lot of mental warfare. And of course, if the devil has your mind, then he can control your body, which is why when God says, you're transformed by the renewing of your mind, it goes to show the power that our mind does have. When our mind is renewed, right? When our mind is captivated by something, held bound by something, led by something, your entire body is led by it. I guess it says that in James about the tongue, that our tongue is like a rudder. It steers the entire ship, but our mind does the exact same thing for our body as well. But once again, this is about like people not realizing the identity of demons. I see a lot of people, and now because my eyes are open, I'm not saying of course right now in this moment, but it's like I see it every day on an everyday basis, ever since my eyes were open, I guess I can put it that way. You realize, especially when you gain more knowledge and understanding of the spiritual realm and stuff, like you realize that a lot of people are not living in their identity, but it's the identity of the spirit inside of them. So you can literally see what you feed, you look like. For an example, when I was having sex all the time, it's like you will look like a hoe. You will look, and I don't, it's like, I don't know how to perfectly explain that, but it's like you will look like what you do. That's why people can walk up and see like, oh, you going, or see whatever you in, they can see like, oh, like It speaks before you open your mouth, is what I'm trying to say. The same way children of God could walk into a room, or you could see a confident man or a confident woman walk into a room and they don't have to open their mouth, but it speaks before them. That's what I mean. And you have to understand, when you take up a demonic nature or a demonic identity, when you're not even really realizing that, regardless of whatever it is, okay, regardless of whatever it is, that's why it's easy to see, if you're a prostitute, it's easy to spot, oh yeah, like you already know what they do. Why? Because that identity speaks before they open their mouth. You don't have to consult them to know what they're on. And I want to challenge whoever is listening to me right now, you listening to me, I want you to truly, when Jesus says that you are made in his image, perfect yourself in God's image. Perfect yourself in God's image. Because you don't understand that the devil also wants to use your body to give his identity glory. Okay? He wants to get glory out of your body. He wants to present his identity to man and flaunt his identity before man. The same way God wants to get glory out of your vessel. But also at the same time, when God gets in the glory, he also allows us to receive favor from man and from God. So it's like, I mean, pick an identity and stick to it. You feel me? And if you're struggling with your identity, I want you to really pull the same way you pull on sin, pull on God. The same way you feed your flesh, decide to pull on God. The same way you are clinging to your desires, cling to God. Because when you're struggling in your identity and you don't understand why you're walking in certain cycles, or the same thing continues to be drawn to you over and over and over again, and you can't find your way from this familiar spirit, your identity has to be renewed. Your image has to be renewed. And I just want to challenge you to change your image. And it's only by tapping in and coming into agreement with the same person who said, you're made in my image, that you will begin to look new and your identity will begin to shift. You'll come out of agreement with the devil's identity, and you'll come into agreement with the identity that God has given you. And it's a real thing. It's a real, very, very, very real thing. But once again, this is just something that I've been thinking about for a while, because I see it every day. And a lot of people don't realize that they're operating in another identity, another spirit, another image, and don't understand why they're just drawing the same things in, and it be familiar spirits. And it's because your identity has not been fully renewed. You're operating, it's another spirit that wants to pull on things in you to continue to keep that demonic lineage, those habits, those patterns, those cycles in effect. So go to the God that said, I made you new, that the old nature is done away with, that in all things, God is in the business of cleaning up what belonged to him anyway. He's in the business of making things new, of changing things, shifting things. He really just wants people to know that his word is true, that he is not a God that shall lie. And that's, I guess, what I'll start you off with. Like, come to him, let him renew your identity. You want your life to change? Try Jesus. Seriously.